welcome to Bricks at Home. This is the Sunday session number 1, which is weird and wonderful. We've got Caz from London AFOLs talking about a custom Ninjago City next, followed by Tristen from Brick Alley and his Heartlake City MOC, Frankie from Brickshire, who's got his Hobbit Mirkwood Forest, and Gary Smith from Brick Central, who's got his Hogwarts House Crest 3D mosaic, which is actually signed by the actors and the filmmakers, which is going to be quite cool. So we'll kick off with Caz. So let's just spotlight her. There we go.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, folks.
So would you like to introduce yourself and your lug and your hometown?
Sure. I'm Caz Mockett. My lug is the London AFOLs. In case I forget, I've worn the T-shirt. And I'm known in the LEGO sphere as Blockhead UK, where I've got a YouTube channel under that name and some Instagram stuff and various other things. So I do various bits of Lego modelling, most known probably for my microscale Micropolis work, but I also enjoy building things at minifig scale. And whilst most people have got a regular Lego City, I started out with one of those as well. But when Ninjago City came out, I really liked the look of it, but I thought, wow, it's a bit expensive. I don't know if I'm going to be able to justify buying that. And then I went to a London AFOLs meetup and we did a communal build of it. And I really enjoyed the build and thought, actually, this is a fabulous model. It's since become my favourite modern Lego set. So whilst I'm not into the ninja aspect of Ninjago, I really love the architectural buildings that they put out throughout the various seasons. And as I say, I really love Ninjago City itself, but I thought, well, it'd be lovely to build something in that style. But I was quite new to building Lego at that point, and I'd only just come out of my dark ages at the end of 2017. So I didn't really have much confidence about building something in that style. Well, fast forward a little bit to, I believe, October 2018, and the Brothers Brick, the website that does a lot of Lego stuff, had organised a collaborative Ninjago themed display for BrickCon. And what they've done is put up on their website a sort of informal standard for making the base plates for Ninjago City, to make sure that where the ground level and the first street level should appear in the right place if you wanted to build a collaborative build. So I didn't know about this at the time, but I saw the results of this build on a Beyond the Brick video. Now Richard's got links to both Brothers Brick standard for you to have a look at if you want to, and a link to the video itself that the brothers, Beyond the Brick did. They interviewed the guy that was organising it at BrickCon, and I was absolutely blown away by this thing, the collaborative efforts that people have put together, bearing in mind they've gone with the standard. So Ninjago City itself is a corner module. The docks, very similar to a straight along module. So they've made a standard for a straight line, an outside corner and an inside corner. And by just building to those 3 standards, they came up with an amazing communal display. So being a bit more confident at the beginning of 2019 about my mocking abilities, I decided to have a go and sticking to this standard. And as with many of my Lego endeavours, I start something and eventually they get a bit out of hand. So let's see if we can turn the camera around. There we go. So this is a bit of an overview of the current state of my custom Ninjago area. It's almost 30 base plates worth now. The official Ninjago City itself sits in this corner here.
And have you modified the Ninjago City at all, or is it just as it came as a set?
The only thing I've done is added these the poles up here and the lighting, which came from the little set with the tuk-tuk. I can't remember what it was called now, but
yes, I know.
The market one, that's the one, yeah. So that's a modification of the original Ninjago City. The other thing I've done...
Oh, Chris says that set is called City Chase.
That's the one, thank you. The other thing I've done is added some levels to the docks. So this up here, that level there, the middle level here, and the top level on there, all basically sit between the official design and the roofs. So that's something you can do yourself to start with if you really want to have a go at modification of something. Just add a few more levels to it, because particularly when that was together with the original set, it just looked a little bit small and pathetic. So adding another layer on each kind of turrety bit has helped to give that a bit more height and proportion. But the very first one I built in January of 2019 was this one. So downstairs we've got the market shop that's built into a little market stall there. There's, I believe, Jack Sparrow taking a ride in a gondola. A bookshop on the ground floor. And then, of course, every model needs to have a Lego store, doesn't it? So there we are, Ninjago District Lego store. An ice cream parlour. Sorry about the focus going in and out a bit here. And then this bit at the top, which is quite unusual for me, in that I designed it in Lego Digital Designer first, and then had to go and get all the bits. And that's Benny's space bar. Each of these models that I've built for myself have got custom interiors. So Benny's space bar is run by his cousin Denny, who's there at the bar. Oop, there we go. So there's a bar that side. I shall try and put the lid back on without it falling off. And then, of course, the other side is Disco Benny's favourite. It's a disco. And that was built with some of the interiors from the party bus
Yes.
from the movie.
Oh, they look familiar.
So as I say, every single module that you see in the whole model has a custom interior to it. I haven't really done anything else to the official sets, but every one I build for myself, I've fully fitted out the interiors as well. So another favourite of mine is over here. This is the Chinese New Year dinner set, which I've mocked to be a Chinese restaurant. This one on the first level up is built partially from one of the Friends cafe sets. And then the next two levels here, I've called it the Block Slug Clubhouse. Block Slug being the Blockville Sigfig Lego user group. So they've both of these levels have got full interiors, as I said, the wobbly wobbly. So this is a build room where the Sigfigs can build their models.
I like the Unikitty faces in the wall.
Yep. And then the next level down is a display of their Lego City they're getting together for various exhibitions, etc.
Nice.
And as you can see, you might recognise various things as I go round. As I say, the Chinese New Year dinner. We've also got the dragon dance here, which I've basically kept and maintained, just installed it on a little pontoon, and it will still go round if you get your finger on a cog just at the bottom there. And then there's the dragon boat race. And the inner docks is something I've really enjoyed putting together, just to give a sort of something that everything can surround. There's a little monorail here. It doesn't actually work. It's actually not very keen about coming out of the station either. But that's built on roller coaster track. I say not powered, but it just looks nice.
Every
and then
train.
Go on.
Every city needs a train.
This was from another friend's set, a juice bar set. You might recognise this level from one of the Creator 3-in-1 sets recently.
Oh,
basically, yeah. I put them both together and then built an identical one with different colours on top. So there we are, a fully spec'd apartment with a kitchen. And the next one down, if it will come off, I don't think it will come off on one hand, but there we are, a very similar one under there. And one of my other favourites that I found recently was this Arctic set that I'd seen on various places. And there's a fold down bookcase here, and we'll lift it up, and there's a grouchy old polar explorer sitting there having a drink, telling stories and, you know, getting drowned in whiskey, which is quite fun. Obviously they need some penguins outside just to look after, to make them feel at home, excuse me. And then there's a retired sled dog up the top as well. We don't really ask how he gets up there because the only access point is via this ladder. Or maybe he got choppered in, I don't know.
Quite possible.
Yeah. So there's a few bits and pieces. This half here is a little bit that hasn't been fully developed yet, but I've got 2 copies of the larger of the current sets of the, what's it called, the Temple Fair, and then the Lion Dance set here that I've combined onto 4 base plates to give an island market. And I've really kind of concentrated on this more now than I do on my regular city, which I've downsized considerably. It used to have a fairground, which took up a lot of room, but I decided that I could still have a few elements of the fair on the water. So this is the beginnings of a fairground on the water, including the good old octopus ride from one of the Friends sets. We've got elves in here as well, one of the boats, the Hidden Side Lighthouse. And as you can see, there's plenty of opportunities to use existing sets and integrate them. Another one here,
I like
LEGO Submarine, yellow submarine sitting on the docks.
Is that
there's
the tree of creativity as well? We've just
It is, yes, yeah. That's a fairly new one that I've put on that module, and it's just dead easy. I've put a few jumpers underneath so it can come straight off without actually affecting the design of the model at all. Hidden Side juice bar, that was a gift we purchased there. Sweet surprises.
Wow.
A 3-in-1. And there's actually a heist going on here. This is a bank depository, Black Scorpion depository. So there's a dodgy looking bloke there with a radio, somebody climbing up the side, and there's one down here. But the cops are on the case, so hopefully they will be apprehended fairly quickly. And the lady from the coffee store is having a bit of a mad moment spotting them. So there we go.
Excellent. And do you have any, I'm guessing the answer is no, but do you have any idea of how many parts you've used in the whole city? A lot.
Not a Scooby really. Just before this, I did look up that Ninjago City itself has got 3,800 odd pieces. And is that right? Yeah, 3,800. The docks is about 3,500. So, you know, I've got a good 8 models that are easily as large as Ninjago City. So it's probably north of 40,000, I would guess. Wow. And each time that you put some nice water down here, a full base plate's worth of water is 500 1x2 tiles, never mind the layer of plate that goes underneath. So it does munch up the piece count very quickly.
It is excellent. It's a really lovely city, and it's quite nice to see something so colourful, because even though the cities are generally quite tan and grey, and impressive anyway, this is so vibrant. And somebody has said in the comments, I think it was Kate, let me just scroll up. So it's much more like a real city with lots of different things melded together into a noisy, colourful society. And that was from Kirsten.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
I think I agree with that.
I've also taken some of the other bits and pieces here. That's the inside of the Doctor Who TARDIS from the Ideas set. This is a virtual gaming arcade. I don't think I can take any more levels off with one hand, but the sub level here has got some rainbow coloured microfighters in it, because the proprietor got bored of everything being grey. And then right at the bottom, there's the Tron Legacy set. They're basically in a VR game on the ground floor.
We have a few requests from the audience. So
yeah,
one is, can we have a look at the Templar Jitsu in there, please?
Yeah, it's not in the greatest place from lighting perspective, really. But there we go. Again, I've put that on a base plate that kind of fits with everything else. And the great advantage of building to this standard, as you can see, everything just lines up. So that walkway, the standard specifies the back side of your straight module should be 8. The pavement part here should start 8 studs in from the water. At the front, it should be 3 studs. So that's kind of the 3 stud area there. And that's more or less it, apart from making sure that the height of the walkway is the same, which is, from memory, 12 studs and 1 plate to the underside of that bit from the top of there. But I say the link that I've given Richard tells you all about it. If you want to build to the standard and want to, have a go expanding things yourself, it's really good to stick to it, because then it means you can put things together in any order, any orientation, and they should still work really well together.
We have a couple more requests for you as well.
Yeah.
So could we see the building with a pizza guy too, please?
The pizza guy. Oh yes, I think I know what you mean. Keep talking while I'm shimmying round.
Chris also says, does this city have an underground train system?
No.
And he's laughing to himself. I can see in the video.
No, he does not. Shut up.
It definitely
There's the pizza.
No.
Is that what you meant, the pizza guy? So there's the pizza van.
Who asked that one, actually? It was Linyi Low.
Yeah. And then this is from the one of the diner sets from Friends. I've butchered up to get that. And then for ages and ages, I had these 2 train cabs that I ended up with from a play brick box. And I had not a Scooby what to do with them. I thought, well, I'm not going to build a train like that, particularly because I'm not that keen on the white train. And I didn't throw them away, or well, I wouldn't throw them away, but I didn't swap with somebody or whatever. They just languished in my parts collection for some time. And then the other thing that Ninjago is brilliant for, you can use any of this stuff, any kind of old stuff that you think, what the hell am I going to use that for? Build it into something creative like this, and it actually doesn't look that out of place. So basically, you take this off, there's a tiny apartment on top.
I think I could quite happily live in that.
With a loo and a bed and kitchen that's hiding behind that door there. So, just go with your wild imagination.
Excellent. Thank you. I think that was a really lovely talk. Any more questions for Caz before we move on? Just wait for people to type anything into chat.
Oh, this is one of my favourites I've built recently. It's a little tea house with, it's terrible lighting because it's right in the middle of the docks here, but tea house.
Oh, nice. I do like the spot element.
Japanese garden with bonsai farm and some lanterns and a little pond. And a very, very old tree.
Oh, yes. Yeah, they are old. Ben asks, did you ever find that anything was awkward to fit into the Ninjago City modular system? And have you got any future ideas for expansion?
Difficulties, not especially. They don't define what goes on at the back of a module. But I've kind of worked out because basically the old Ninjago, the original Ninjago, only had the walkway at the front. But it's quite often nice to have a little walkway around the back as well. So it's obviously the same height that I've decided, but it's a variable width there. And sometimes you can only get up from a module that's a little way along. So this particular one here, there's no way to get from the ground floor, which is a water pumping station, up to here. But think about your routes, about how can you get up from various places. So you have to go around the front, around the docks here, up those stairs, and then into this bit. And it's great fun to think to yourself, haha, I'm going to make the minifigures walk a long way for this.
Captain Mutant asks, how long does it take you to dust all of this? Do you dust it?
I last dusted it about a month ago, and it took about 3 days, because that was basically me removing one model at a time and removing every single layer and thoroughly dusting it and putting it apart and putting it back together when one of them fell apart outside.
Oh.
As for future plans, I've got the good old Destiny's Bounty sitting over there I've got to do something with. There's plenty of ideas, but I'm currently waiting for lug bulk because I'm completely out of tiles for the water, which is a bit of a pain. If only that light blue came on them, pick a brick.
If only, yes. There's only dark blue on our local one at the moment.
Yeah.
Kirsten asks, what are those translucent tubes, yellow tubes?
Here?
I think that's what we were looking at the time, yes.
They were from, the last thing they were from was for Dr. Fox's laboratory. But
Okay.
they're basically, this is a bar where people drink some really kind of hideously addictive liquid. And these are booths where they can go and appreciate the liquid even more, and they get kind of nice, I don't know, experiences beamed at them while they're looking over the docks. But it's run by a really dodgy looking guy. You can see him there.
Oh, yes.
And these blokes have not moved from their chair. You see, this is what happens to you when you've drunk too much of it. You tend to go a bit green yourself.
Ben says, that bar is awesome, looks very cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Stuart asks, he says, it's a beautiful display, super impressed. Are there any Fabuland Easter eggs or parts used in Ninjago City?
I can't think of any off the top of my head. It doesn't mean I wouldn't, but I don't necessarily have any of those pieces. The only Fabuland I do have is for a habitat over here.
I knew there'd be Fabuland somewhere. There you go, Stuart.
Yeah.
I'll just check for some. Somebody says,
So
this liquid, is it gin in the bar or Pangalactic Gargle Blasters?
I think it's more likely to be Pangalactic Gargle Blasters.
Ninja Brew, somebody said.
Batman's in a bit of trouble here as well.
Mild Peril. Yeah.
Mild Peril, yeah.
I do like the shrimp boat as well from, that's a hidden side set, isn't it?
And then the shrimp shack itself is in there as well. Probably can't see it very well. Here we go. Yeah, that's just in a position that's really not very easy to show you. There we go.
Al says, make a dino place in Ninjago City, please.
Send me some dinos and I'll do it.
I bet he won't. He won't share.
Why do you think I said it?
Right, thank you, Caz. I think it's a great model. We will move on to the next modeler. I think we're just about out of questions, so thanks, Caz.
Okay.
You are up next with Heartlake City. So let's ping over. Right, so you're on the big screen.
Hello there.
Morning. So, would you like to tell us a little bit about you and how you got into the Lego hobby?
Yep. My name's Tristen. I kind of got back into Lego in 2008, 2009. People started to buy me Star Wars sets, which was great because I didn't have to spend any money. Then I had two girls who suddenly wanted to be involved in Lego. And they started to get lots of friends, Lego. And at that point, it was like, oh, this is better than just grey bricks and grey spaceships. So it kind of started from there. We started to collect some of the bigger sets. And they were nice, but you couldn't really integrate them very well. So I did a spot of Googling about 2 or 3 years ago to start looking at modular builds. And that all kicked off from MIM in Brick Alley. It was my first exhibition at Shildon, and I was next to MIM, and she did a Ninjago City. And it was all modular. And I was like, this is brilliant because you can just do little like Caz's, you can do little scenes and settings and just put it in together. And I said, well, why can't we do that with friends? So started to play around, had a look at a couple of things online. Not very confident doing Mocs. So I found a design online. It was done by a lady called Kirsten Crystal, something like that. Did one 3-story townhouse as a shop, and they thought, well, can we not continue that? And that kind of grew and is continuing to grow into Heartlake City.
Wow. So I think this is a good time to go and have a bit of a tour.
No problem.
Let's have a look at the city. And while we, wow. So,
and I've been told I have to tell you there are 15 trolls.
15 trolls hidden
in here somewhere.
Okay, we'll have to keep an eye out. I can see one. Right. That's an easy one to find. So for Tristen is in my local Lego user group, Brick Alley, and he is renowned for building with lots of vibrant colours and making scenes exactly like this. This is very, very Tristen. It looks great.
Which is the irony, considering I'm colourblind. So we started off building, it was based on the friend set Andrea's Cafe, into a 3-story townhouse. So if I come round.
So do these all have interiors? Oh, wow.
Yeah. So what I'll do is, 1 second, I'm just going to put you there while I take this apart. Because it's
I feel like
kind of fiddly.
Like an employee or something at the moment.
So in here we've got the cafe. And what I wanted to do with each interior was take the little sets you could buy. So here we have Mia's karate studio.
Oh.
And just integrate them into each room, so that when people were looking, they're like, a lot of the feedback I got from Shildon was, oh, I've got that set. I've got that set. And that was really good because people could then relate to it. There's a troll. And one of the things I made myself was a post office sorting room.
That's
and just a little post office, which was quite easy to do.
That's a really nice little model.
Yeah. And one of the things I did do was we created a gym.
Oh, I like the bags as kettlebells.
Yeah. We've got some, this one, so we've got a little weight to go on there. Then we have a little juice bar.
Excellent.
With various sets. So this set here, you can buy that. It's like the £5 to £10 little sets.
Ah, okay.
The lid off here, this, because the Lego did a range of like bedrooms and deluxe bedrooms. So it's to integrate them into it. The hairdressers and beauty salon.
We have a comment from Caz which says all of the colours and lots of smiley faces. I think.
Yes. So not that I need a hairdressers. And then we made a cake shop.
Wow. I love all of the colours and the style of these.
Oh, we've lost the cake.
Quite
I know, it's just
sets and sort of custom builds in it, but it's all quite consistent in its style. It's really
So the next, so that was what was presented at Shildon, and we were like, where do we want to take this? So we created a little park with like a little picnic area. This was taken off the Heartlake Hotel.
Oh, yes.
The feature, nice little pathway, and 2 sets that recently we bought that I really, really like are the pizza shop. And I didn't really want to do anything with that because I just think it's a really nice set. It's got lots of vibrant colours, different things going on. So we just kept that as pretty much as is. So there's lots going on. You've got the chef.
Oh,
And over here we've got Heartlake Hotel.
Quite a bit expanded from the original set.
Yeah, there's a little bit more in there. Oh, there's another troll. So we added an eating area and a couple of bits. The idea we have next with this is to actually buy another Heartlake Hotel and double it up
Working
to make the room bigger, to
Um,
have more facilities.
That would be great.
That would be great.
Person asks, does the revolving door revolve? And I think it does. Yeah, it does in the original set, as Caz has just said.
My hand.
Whee!
Yeah, that still revolves.
Kate says, I love how you've incorporated some of those small sets. I guess they are the pocket money sets of the present time. I really think it shows that kids and even AFOLs who are less confident building can use those sets and expand on them.
Yeah, and that was very much the view. Obviously, each of these, so this was from the Friends Juice Bar, Beauty Salon, Hairdressers, Cake Shop. They were all original official Lego sets, apart from one or two. And then you just take the elements you want. So this whole section at the front here, that's all that's left of that original set. Everything else was just built around it.
So was are the scissors as the sign, was that part of the original set? So really like
that was all part of the original set.
Never spotted
and it was just quite cute, I thought.
Yeah, that's really nice. It fits really well in the street, and I suppose all of the what I like about the Friends series is that the shops, it does provide shops, whereas Lego City, you might get a bank because the robbers are burgling it.
Yeah.
But you don't usually get a cake shop. We've just had a donut shop, actually, so it's not maybe not quite true, but the range of shops in Lego City is quite limited, whereas actually in Friends, I think they're a lot more varied and a bit more exciting.
Yeah, well, we want to add an ice cream parlour next, and what we're going to do is we're going to add a section whereby we can park, you know, the new ice cream van, so we can integrate that into it as well. That's one of the next plans for it, just to start expanding it, making it bigger.
So do you have any ideas for the next store?
We're going to do the ice cream store. We're also going to add along the front here a pier with little jetties. Obviously, the closer we go to the hotel, it'll be more like yachts, and then there'll be jet skis.
Oh, nice.
Then from this point, it's going to be beachfront. We're going to make the road turn to the left, and over here is going to be the Heartlake Tram eventually. So we've got plans to make a little tram. William's going to help me. Well, basically, he's going to electrify it. And we've got a tram stop, and we're going to incorporate that to create more homes at the back. So we're going to have an alleyway going along here. We're going to use the garbage truck from the Lego City range and modify that. Yeah, and then have more houses along. Oh yeah, we've got a labourer. To be fair, with all four of us have had a hand in one element or another for this. So,
and is this something that's permanently set up at home, or is this currently taking over the dining table and needs to be moved soon?
No, the shops are permanently set up somewhere. The road, because of how it's created, I mean, everything just comes away and can be easily stored. I'm already getting evils because I stole Heartlake Hotel away from them playing, didn't I?
Yeah. I'm sure they can have it back. Yeah, look at that face. I'm sure they can have it back in 5 minutes or so. Tim asks, which is your favourite part of the city?
I really like the shop. Just because you've got this outdoor terrace area, and I just like it's just a little bit different from the rest. The rest we've tried to incorporate some changes, whereas this one is radically different. Making these shop windows was a bit of a nightmare at first, but all they are, I'm going to take that tree out. So these just slot in and are held in. So they were a bit precarious when we made it, and behind it is the rectangular window, and then these bays just attach in front.
Oh, yes.
So it had a little bit more going on it when it was built, so I think I do quite like the cake shop.
It is a really nice. It's kind of hard to pick. I think I personally like the hotel with the working lift. I think that's a really nice expansion. I've got the I think it was called Capital City with the little open top tour bus, and that came with a really small hotel.
Yeah.
And I'm still planning on making that into something similar, sort of a similar scale to the Heartlake Hotel.
Oh, and I have to show you the toilet, apparently. It's for this set, I just quite like keeping it on its own because it's got all little things going on.
I do
all
like
over.
Every Lego toilets is just some of the designs are really innovative. Chris says, this feels to me like a, where's that comment gone? Chris says, this feels to me like it has a kind of 1980s Miami feel to the buildings.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You're expecting Magnum PI somewhere.
Well, Chris also says you need a hotel scene with Tony Montana being attacked by a chainsaw, which might not fit in really hard. Caz would love to get the pizzeria and incorporate it into her own Ninjago City.
It is a really lovely set. I mean, I recently bought the fashion shop as well to have a look at incorporating that. But it's actually a really boring set. I was not impressed at all with it. So we've kind of just left it alone for now because I think we could do better ourselves.
I'm sure you can. I do like it. So is that the set pretty much untouched? I'm not too familiar with the Friends range at the moment.
Yeah, the rest pizzeria is untouched. I mean, I've not with the girls are playing with the fashion shop because it's just for the price it is. There's not very much to it, so we just didn't bother with it in the end.
And it's the pizza oven. Is that part of the original set? Because that looked like quite a nice design. It caught my eye earlier. Yeah,
that's all. That I haven't actually for the pizzeria. I haven't touched any of that because I think it's just a really good set on its own. And this,
I like the roof.
The roof's brilliant. This is actually built in. It's so you can see it from both sides. Try and move.
Ooh. You get the 360-degree tour.
I'll just move that out of the way because that comes off. Toilet again. So that's in there. You get this little.
It's a really nice design. It's a nice play feature, isn't it?
Yeah. You get the surly with a pen for some reason. But yeah, I think it's just a really lovely set and you can just play around with it and do what you want. For some reason I'm assuming it's a fire extinguisher, not an air horn.
Who knows? It could be both.
It could be anything.
That's the beauty of Lego.
Yeah.
Chris asks, are there any plans to incorporate the original Heartlake Hospital into the city?
We haven't got any plans for that one at the minute, but you never know.
That probably means in Tristen talk he'll go and buy it today, and it will be done next week.
Yeah, probably.
Probably will. Now it's been suggested. It'll just get.
That's it. It's done.
Brilliant. Thanks, Tristen. Does anyone have any more questions for Tris?
Because somebody's desperate to start playing.
Not too many questions. We've got some need to play. Kirsten says it's both beautiful and playable. And I agree. I love the fact that the buildings are still open backed and they're still playable. That's really cool. Will you now be adding a Tony Montana and chainsaw scene? Asked Chris.
I'm gonna have to now. It's been suggested.
Excellent.
But the only most recent addition is my little fairy bricks man.
Gary is just So that's your figure for raising some
We
money.
had to have. Yeah, my legs are now killing me thanks to that waxing.
all in the name of charity.
Absolutely.
If anything, I would say the video of your legs getting waxed, there wasn't enough pain and misery.
Oh, it was there, believe me.
Great, thank you, Tris.
No, thank you.
Stuart says, such an enchanting family build. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to our next builder now, who is Frankie McCarthy from Brickshire with his Lego Hobbit Mirkwood Forest. So, hello, Frankie. We'll just get you spotlighted there. Brilliant. So, you are on. So, would you like to introduce yourself and how you got into the Lego hobby? And then we'll get started on your model. Hi, Frank.
So yeah, I'm Frankie, and I've been building Lego Mocs since I was about 10 years old, so for about 6 years now. And the Hobbit range has always been my favourite theme, and the Lord of the Rings, so that's what my mock is now.
Excellent. Shall we have a bit of a tour about that, and then we can go back to questions, because we saw a sneak preview of this when you were testing yesterday. It looked excellent.
Okay.
Wow.
So yeah, it's kind of hard to get it all in one shot, but this is the entire build.
That is superb. So I'm not too familiar with the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit franchises, but what I can see are a lot of trees, and I know getting something that looks quite organic and blended like that is really hard. So well done. That large tree, is that a custom model, or is that sort of based on the Treehouse set or something like that?
Yeah, so I bought the Lego Treehouse set recently, and then I just kind of took inspiration from it with this tree.
Well, I think
so, I kind of did
the canopy curves over. So is that just the leaf elements stuck together and bent a little bit out of shape to get the curved effect?
Yeah, kind of similar to this set. I have these kind of branch pieces kind of angled, if you can see at the top.
Oh,
that kind of gives it that effect.
Oh, excellent.
So there is a kind of entire story behind it all. So for anyone who hasn't read or seen The Hobbit, kind of the story is that a party of dwarves are set to reclaim their homeland with one little hobbit called Bilbo Baggins. And they are set to go through this evil forest, and they have to stick to the path, otherwise they'll get killed. So the first thing that happens is one of the dwarves falls into this enchanted river. Don't know if you can see there.
Yep.
So that's the kind of first main thing that happens. Then as they carry along the path, they stray over the bridge. They then get to a stage in their journey where they run out of food. So they stray off the road, and then they get ambushed by these huge man-eating spiders. And I kind of got them scuttling down the trees. You can see they're man-eating because of all these skeletons littered around the mock.
I love all the spider webs in the trees as well. And there's tiny spider brothers waiting. Is that
I managed to get
up in a sort of spider's web we could see hanging from a tree to the right, I think it was.
Yeah, the dwarves end up getting captured by these spiders, and they get put in these webs, and they're not too happy about that.
Is that an official Lego element, frankly? The sort of...
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
People are always really, really surprised, but in the Hobbit sets, in the Mirkwood Spiders Escape set, we got 2 of this part. Yeah, it is actual Lego.
I've not seen that before, so that's really cool. I've learned something new today already.
And then luckily the Mirkwood elves come to rescue the dwarves, so they start killing all these spiders, as you can see here. But the elves aren't too friendly themselves, so they take the dwarves to their king. So I wanted to build this mock 360, so I've got seams around the back, as you can see here. So the dwarves go to the elf king, and the elf king asks them what they're doing in his lands, and when they don't tell him, the elf king just throws them into the dungeons. So you can see here, I built some dungeons. And then the elves are quite fond of wine, so the guards are kind of getting a bit drunk. And then Bilbo saves the day again with his magic ring, and he manages to get the dwarves to escape. He finds the key, then the dwarves escape out of these cells. I haven't actually finished this build yet, and over here in this section I'm going to have the wine cellar, and this is kind of the final journey of the Mirkwood adventure, and the dwarves get out in these barrels and they go down the river, and they'll take you back to the front of the display, and this is where the barrel escape happens.
I love how the whole story is told just through one model, and the figures and the characters appear in multiple places in different parts of the story. It's really does anybody have any queries for Frankie before we continue? Just checking the comments. Kate says a wine cellar sounds exciting.
Thanks.
The colour palette, I think it does work really well, all of the foliage, and then the sort of tan wall and the light grey and sand green interior.
Yeah.
And of course, Chris has asked, will there be an underground train system? No.
No.
Definitely not. Could we have a look at the centre waterfall? It looks amazing, says Tris.
Of course.
It does, yeah. I somehow overlooked that when we were looking at the bits.
So this is the section on my YouTube channel that people love the most. I think this is the only part that's really movie accurate. Don't know if that's focusing right, but I tried to get this to look exactly like it is in the few shots we have of it in the movie. And it turned out better than I thought it would, to be honest.
It looks really
I managed to... Thanks, sorry. I managed to get the kind of curved effect, or kind of slanted effect, by using turntables here. I've got a black one there that might be easier to see. That's how I managed to get that angle.
Duncan asks, did you base the scene from the books or the film? And I think you've maybe partially answered that, in that you've captured some of this from the film and some stills in the film.
Yeah, I've recently watched and read the book before I started building, and I've kind of taken scenes from both and kind of mashed them together. I think the film definitely has a lot more action, and the dwarves are often wielding blades a lot more. So I wanted to include that because I think that's pretty awesome. But yeah.
You know, how long has this taken you to build so far?
Yeah, so far I've been building for about 7 weeks, and probably about 60 hours at least.
Wow, that's not bad for the amount of progress you've made. 60 hours is pretty remarkable for something like that. Do you have any concept of how many parts are in the build, or are you one of these builders who, like me, who don't really count as you go along?
It's very hard to estimate, isn't it? Because
yeah,
I mean, yeah,
it's nearly impossible if you're just building and you're in the zone and you've got parts to hand. It's quite easy just not to count them and have no real idea or no real concept how many parts you've used.
Yeah, I mean, just like here, I've used studs as the waterfall, as the kind of river, and there must be quite a lot of pieces just there. I mean, it's got to be tens of thousands. I'm not sure how many.
I would think so, especially with the interior as well. That looks like some serious brickwork.
Yeah.
So she loves the round towers. Kate says the waterfall is epic, and it certainly is. Yeah, can we have another look at the towers? I like how they're embedded into the rockwork below as well.
Yeah, I wanted to have the kind of towers spaced out evenly across the wall. So I'm going to build one more tower here in this gap. But I completely forgot I was doing that. So when I was building this section here, I built all the way up to the top, and then I realized I've got to put a tower in there. So then I had to kind of dismantle stuff. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I think a lot of Lego builders will relate to that. You're getting so far with a build and getting excited that it's so done, and then realizing, oh, I've made a bit of a mistake and I've got to go all the way back.
Yeah.
So has this model been to any other Lego shows at the moment, or was it planned to go to some shows which have been cancelled this year?
Yeah, I was going to take it to Bricklink's Sally's event,
Oh
and
yeah,
that's been cancelled.
Sad.
But yeah, I'd love to take it to an event, but I don't like to keep displays for very long. I always want to get on to the next one. So the longest I've ever had one is 6 months. So hopefully it'll go to a show. But
oh, I hope so. It is a lovely model. It'd be a shame not to take it to the public whenever the shows reopen again.
yeah. I also thought I'd mention that I have a YouTube channel, Fantasy Bricks, where I've been doing a weekly update showing my progress. I've got about 7 episodes on there now, and then you can kind of see how this is all built step by step.
That would be great. We'll try and find the link for people in chat and put that in the recording description as well.
Yeah.
Once we've got a chance to put those up. Do you have any builders you admire? You like their building styles?
Yeah, a lot. Quite a lot of people spring to mind. I like a lot of the people on YouTube. I'm not a massive Star Wars fan, but a lot of people are. So a lot of the big builders do Star Wars stuff. So David Halls with Solid Brick Studios, he does some cool stuff. I love the Beyond the Brick stuff that they put out. And yeah, I love all the history stuff as well.
Oh yes, we've got some of that coming later with Brick to the Past, so that should be...
Brick to the Past, yeah. I love their builds. A lot of the inspiration for my stuff has come from their massive layouts.
I think we can see that, and as a singular builder, I think you've done something at a scale which is really impressive, and the detail and the quality of the models really shows there. So well done, Frankie.
Thank you.
Lovely. Does anyone have any final questions for Frankie? Let's just check the chat. Captain Mutant says he's been blown away, and I don't think he's the only one looking at the comments. It is
Thank you so much.
Layout. No more questions. Alex says, amazing build.
Thanks, Alex.
Chris says, you need a subway. Remember the subway scene in chapter 6. Never stops. Never stops. Great. Thanks, Frankie. We'll move on to our final builder in the session, who is Gary Smith from Brick Central, and we're going to be talking to him about his Hogwarts House Crest 3D mosaic signed by the actors. So, hello, Gary.
Hello all. God, that's an ugly sight, isn't it? No, I mean, yeah, blown away by those three builds we've seen. They've been amazing. But yeah, I'm Gary. I've been Lego hobbyist now for quite a few years. I really started off building the Star Wars sets as they came out. I think, yeah, as most people do. And then I got the idea of wanting to be able to do something a bit more for myself, and that's where I then started with looking at mosaics. And yeah, but probably most people here now have seen it, because I've been displaying it for about 1.5 years at various shows, and I've taken it to Comic-Con twice, which is where I've been able to get signatures for
that's
it.
where you got the signatures.
Yes.
Okay, should we have a look at the mosaic? It is really impressive. I saw it flash up. I think, did you post it on Facebook earlier this morning?
I did, yes. But yeah, there you go. I've even done an underground train system for you. But yeah,
Chris is very happy now.
Yes. Yeah, so that's the mosaic itself. Just put some small bits and pieces inside it, so you could get an idea of the size.
Wow, it is an impressive size. So what is it mounted on? Is that Lego, or is that a...
No, it's a massive piece of MDF, which I managed to find in a scrap box at B&Q. So, yeah, so I mounted it on the MDF, which I first wallpapered to have the bricks.
That is superb. It's a really nice display piece, isn't it?
And then, as you can see, I've got the full 3D effect. So you've got the Gryffindor and Ravenclaw, so they both protrude. And then Slytherin.
That adds a really nice effect to it, rather than just being a totally flat mosaic. That's a nice.
Yeah,
then,
that was one of the things that I wanted to do with it. I wanted to be able to bring a bit more depth.
And the Hogwarts H in the middle is also raised up from above those as well. That is really beautiful.
Yeah, and they are solid all the way through as well.
Oh.
So,
Did you
I
have
think
a rough idea of how long did the model take? Did you design it digitally first and then build it in the brick, or did you just start experimenting and putting bricks together to see what you could do?
No, I got a program called Legoizer, which I used, but the design for it I found had all sorts of different shadings and stuff, so I had to take all of that out and then work out my own 3D on top. So,
I guess you must like a challenge. Do you know roughly how?
Yeah, I don't like to do things easy.
You know how many parts are included in the mosaic build itself?
I've estimated somewhere between 20 and 30,000.
Wow, that is quite.
Because so many of them are just 1x1s, as well as I've got some larger bricks.
And there's the structure as well behind it, because quite a deep model. Is it a couple of bricks?
It is. Yeah, if I show you from here, it's
wow.
yeah, just this part here is 2 plates and 1 brick.
Wow. We have some questions already, which is a good sign. So how heavy is the Lego part, and is it very fragile?
It's all completely mounted onto this, so I can't tell you how heavy it is. It was surprisingly not fragile when I took them out, because I built each section completely individually.
Ah, okay. And then
mounted together. The first attempt at doing it, I did just try and do it as one full solid sheet. I got both of these 2 top bits, the H, fully done, and the bottom weren't quite designed yet. And I managed to drop it and had to start again from scratch.
Oh no!
And that was after about 4 months' work, and then 2 months later, I thought, all right, I'll redesign it to how I wanted to do it. Each section was then individual.
What was the most challenging bit to design?
I would have to.
Issues, would you say, or
it was between the Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff, I'd have to say, because trying to get the size dynamics right is just been a bit of a challenge.
I can imagine.
Because they just took. So he looks just a little bit too thin in some places, and I don't really like the face too much on that either. But I wanted to make sure that all of their eyes were the same, using a corner plate white with the single black. So it's a common picture for every eye.
Helps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Together. And I think
it just adds that cartoon element as well, just to.
Yeah, I think it's very easy as a builder to, you kind of know the weaknesses and what you perceive as flaws in your own models. But when members of the public and when we're looking at it, it looks awesome.
You just
as a builder, you do know the kind of weaknesses and I wish I'd done that bit a little bit differently. But overall, it's an incredible model. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and I can run through a couple of the signatures as well that we've got.
That was our next question. So Matt asked, how many signatures do you have? And we can run through some of them as well.
I've got 13 in total. Some are, I've got Kevin here. He was a cinematic visual effects artist for the first 6 films. He did a lot of the landscape and stuff that you see.
Mm-hmm.
I've got one there in silver, which unfortunately you really can't make out very well. I'm trying to remember who that was now. I've got Guy Keep up here, who was High Sickness from the Ministry.
Ah, okay. I love the owl as well. I've just spotted that.
Yeah, I thought I'll dot it with some owls and bats and even a snake. The guy who played Seamus Finnegan signed it there. And Oliver Wood, who was the Quidditch captain. But the best signatures I've got for it are...
Oh, yeah, Lucius Malfoy.
yeah, his dad and his son, so Draco. And they never do any signatures or photos or anything together, so that is a one-of-a-kind signature.
Oh, and I can see his stunt double for...
Yeah, his stunt double for Draco. Just to add onto it as well.
Very nice, I like that.
And then Lavender Brown, who was Ron's girlfriend in the fourth film.
Which is your favourite signature that you've collected so far?
His stunt double.
Yeah, I think that's probably my favourite I've seen so far.
Yes, yeah, that's definitely the favourite. I mean, we were hoping to have been at Comic-Con again this month, actually, or was it next month? But cancelled, of course. I would have got Robbie Coltrane.
Is that,
who was Hagrid.
Is that your next must-have signature, Robbie Coltrane?
It's only because he would have been the next available that I'd know of.
Ah, right.
But yeah.
What's the ultimate?
I still need to get the main three, which I haven't got any of them. That's the dream signatures for it. So, yeah, Harry, Ron and Hermione.
Excellent.
But yeah, there's a lot of the students dotted around. And then,
do we have any more questions from the audience for Gary? I think we're all just admiring the model.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, Matt says Comic-Con was this weekend, apparently.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yes.
Alec asks, which house are you in?
I can never remember. Actually, I think I fall more under a Ravenclaw. Apparently.
A Ravenclaw. I think that's
yeah.
A good answer. Any more questions for Gary?
So, of course, I've made sure the train goes.
Oh, good. Well, we need a train.
Well, yeah. And when it comes back around, you'll see that I added lights to the front as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, just come off the train.
Excellent.
And then, yeah, just a couple of scenes. So I'll do a bit of a demolished Hogwarts. But yeah, just all for the size scaling more than anything.
It is a really superb model. I can imagine a lot of Lego fans and a lot of Harry Potter fans would absolutely love one of those in their house.
Yeah, I know. I thought if I did get around to eventually selling it, it'd need to be 5 figures at least. So,
I think, yeah, if you can add some more signatures, I'm sure somebody will pay that.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Well, it's because of the one of a kind with Draco and his dad that really puts it up.
Excellent. Thanks,
Yeah.
Gary. I think that's all from the comments as well. So thanks very much, Gary. That is excellent. I'd seen some photos of it, but I hadn't had the full tour before. So thanks very much.
Yeah, no problem.